Hi, I'm Craig and welcome to Your Tech. Today's video, the long-term review of the Asus Ally. I've been using this for around a year. This is the OG 2023 model. I'm going to give you the pros and cons of this handheld gaming PC and also a use case that doesn't get talked about enough. The one main thing that I use this for, I've seen hardly anyone give proper attention to, and I think it needs addressing. So I'm going to go through it and you can find out why in 2025 this could still be a great handheld for you to get your hands on. Let's get into it. Why did I buy it? What was the reason behind it? And there's a couple of different reasons. This was the one that stood out to me. It had a 1080p screen, which was a big plus point for me because if I ever wanted to use it as to enjoy content on, if I wanted to watch YouTube on it or if I wanted to watch a film on it or something like that, the fact that it's got a 1080p screen and would look very crisp and very sharp at this size was a massive plus point for me. Ultimately though, I got this over the Steam Deck purely because it's more powerful and because it's Windows based. Now I know Steam Deck's OS is fantastic, and it really is, and I have used a Steam Deck. They are very, very impressive, but it's quite limited and it's more of a closed ecosystem, where with Windows, I can put Steam on it, I can put Xbox app on it, I can put Uplay on it, I can put Epic Games on it, I can enjoy content on it, I can put whatever I want on it, I can emulate on it. And the performance of this is really impressive for what it is. Now, you don't have to play in 1080p. If you'd rather have smoother frame rates, you can play in 720 or 900, but it has a 120 Hertz panel. So everything is so smooth. And because the processor by AMD is so powerful, you can legitimately run games at 120 Hertz on some of the games, which is awesome. The only reason why this won out over the Steam Deck is purely because it's more powerful. All I wanted was some kind of handheld gaming PC so I could game while sitting on the sofa with the missus. While she's watching whatever crap she's watching on telly, Bridgerton or whatever, I could sit there, play this, still interact with her, still spend time with my family, but being able to game at the same time. So I'm not a massive lover of film and TV anymore. So that's the reason I got it. Now, I mentioned the performance there, but I'm going to go through it in a little bit more detail. So this plays AAA titles. I can play Cyberpunk on this. Granted, settings are incredibly low, but it plays it, and it plays it at 30 FPS, and it looks alright. It plays well. Now, I think you can bump up FSR on it and get over 30 frames a second, but it starts to look a little bit worse for wear at that point. But you can't take away, I've played all sorts of games on this. Rocket League, Cyberpunk, Medieval Dynasty, Vampire Survivors. I've emulated games on this, and this does really well in emulation. Everything up to a PS3 is what I've tried so far, and everything runs really well on it. It's really impressive. I've played a host of games on it, and it always impresses me. However, everything I've just said is not the main use case that I actually use this for. There are pros and cons to this device, no doubt about it. There are some issues with it, glaring issues with it, that Asus still haven't fixed. And they've offered no product recall as far as I'm aware or anything. The SD card slot still kills SD cards. Even to this day, I have had 2 SD cards die in this machine, and it is irritating as all hell. This is still as it was from the factory. There are no mods. I have not done anything to it. I wanted this long-term review to be a 100% long-term review of this product on its own. After this review, I'm probably going to start modding it. I'm probably going to put a full-size SSD in it. I'll put the thermal material stuff over the SD card slot to try and stop that from dying. But as it is completely and utterly stock. The only thing that's changed on this is whatever settings and stuff I've tinkered around with in the operating system. So I'm going to go through the pros and cons. It has a massive 7-inch screen that's 1080p. So crisp, so sharp, so fluid at 120 Hertz. Everything smooth, everything looks amazing. It's touchscreen, which I didn't think I'd be bothered about, but it's dead handy. I end up using the touchscreen more than I do the normal controls when navigating windows and stuff. The thumbsticks are absolutely sound. The buttons are responsive, everything feels how it should. The only downside with the controls is the D-pad. Not a fan of the D-pad. I prefer to have 4 individual buttons rather than this weird rocker system that most things use nowadays. The performance is incredible. It looks nice, it feels nice. It's ridiculously easy to use. It's Windows, which is what I'm used to. So I don't have any issues with using any of the software or anything like that because it is just a Windows PC, just smaller. One of the other pros of this is Armoury Crate, and I cannot believe that I'm saying it. But the way that Armoury Crate is integrated into this is incredible. The overlay is responsive. It changes your resolution like that, your TDP like that, ends task like that. Anything that you need in that overlay, it does it, and it does it really, really well. The ease of use and the performance of this make this an absolute beast in my opinion. There are some negatives though. There are some cons to this handheld that I'm going to go through. Now I've already mentioned one, the SD card slot overheating and killing SD cards. Still happens today on a stock one. If you're lucky enough that it hasn't happened to you, fair one. But this is fully up to date. It's got the newest BIOS on it, it's got the different fan curve that's meant to stop it dying, and it does not work. This has still killed 2 SD cards in the last year. The other downside to it is the battery life. If you're playing a game that needs 25 watts of power, this thing eats through its battery. I'm talking an hour to an hour and a half at the most. On the lower TDPs, if you're playing an easier to run game, battery life's not too bad. You can get 2.5 to 3 hours out of this in the silent power mode on games that aren't hard to run. And this will quite happily just sit power in that mode and does still games really well, like 10 watts, absolutely sound. But the battery life, if it's a demanding game, the battery life on this goes like that. By the time you've sat down, set it up and really got into what you're playing, you need to plug it in or get a battery bank. Another con for this is the storage capacity. It's only 512 gig. You cannot fit many AAA titles on this. You cannot fit many big games on this. It's a brilliant capacity size if all you're doing is emulating. Because most of them, especially if you older emulation, like Game Boy, SNES, Sega, N64, the games aren't that big, so you can fit loads on here. However, for anything modern, big games, you ain't got a lot of space whatsoever, and it's really irritating. There's also a few other things. Windows. Now, I know I put this as a Pro, and I know that I've explained that the reason I got this was Windows. However, it comes with the same issues that we all have with Windows today. So you can have issues with crashing, you can have issues with drivers, you can have issues with it being awkward and not responding and all them little finicky things that we have to deal with Windows. It can be extremely frustrating. I've mentioned the price, and that is a con as well. These are extremely expensive. For what they are, £600 on release was extremely expensive. But you can pick these up in mint condition from CEX for £425, which is a bargain. A full-fledged gaming PC that you can hook up to a monitor, that can play AAA titles, that can do everything that a Windows PC can do for £425. What's even better, CEX offers a 5-year warranty. So you're pretty much good. I think if you bought one of these secondhand from CEX, £425, you would not be disappointed in the slightest. So the hidden gem of the Asus Ally. There's probably a lot of you that realise what it is I'm going to say on this, but it is streaming your games. If you're a sofa gamer, if you like to use one of these while sat on the sofa chilling, streaming the games from a dedicated PC is absolutely incredible. You can quite easily stream AAA titles on this in the silent power profile and get well over 3 hours on it. It is a massively impressive thing. Now, I completely get that the PC is doing all of the hard work when it comes to streaming, but it doesn't take away from the functionality of it. The fact that you can do it on this, like, I know it's integrated with Steam, I know it's Steam's feature, but doing it on this, the fact it gives you so much battery life, yet such high graphical fidelity while you're playing, is incredible. Obviously your mileage is going to vary depending on your network and your signal and all that. My desktop's wired into my router and then it's wireless from there, and the input latency is surprisingly good. I quite happily play games like Cyberpunk, Medieval Dynasty, Ark, Doom, and just crank the details up, stream it from the PC, and it handles it beautifully. It's such a great piece of functionality, and not enough people give it enough attention. And that is my main use case for this. I stream the games from my PC to the handheld when I'm sat on the sofa, chilling with the family, and it just looks so good. So the conclusion, I've used it for a year, and if I'm completely honest, even with its issues, even with the awful battery life when you're playing something demanding, even with it killing my SD cards, even with it only having 0.5 terabyte of storage, I love it, and I can't help but love it. The only other downside to it is when you first get one, the initial setup process is long. Like, it took hours to get Windows up to date, to get Armoury Crate and the BIOS up to date, to get Microsoft Store up to date and all the applications up to date, then to download your game launchers and to download your games. It has Wi-Fi 6E, so it does have good Wi-Fi speeds, but it still takes a hell of a long time to set up. At a second-hand price with 5-year warranty of £425, if you haven't got one and you've got the money, I can highly recommend it. I think they're absolutely fantastic. There you have it. Let me know what you think. Did you go out and get a Steam Deck? Did you get the original Ally? Did you get the Ally X, the Legion Go? Let us know what you got and what your thoughts were. I'd really like to know where people sit in terms of opinion on the original Ally. I mean, this has been out, what, 1.5 years now? And I know 2 or 3 people with them and they're quite happy with the experience. What do you guys think? If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to watch either one of these two that are going to pop up. And if you enjoy our content, please subscribe, give us a like, drop us a comment, whatever it is. Have a great day. Bye.